Hey YouTube, how are we all doing? Lego Leprechaun here again, guys, and again with another city update. But before we get started, as always, I'd like to thank you all for your last comments on the previous video, for the new subscriptions, and again for the subscriptions that actually hang in there with me, guys. Really appreciate it, and all the positive feedback. Much appreciated. So, without further ado, let's get going. Now, in the last update, I took you through the haunted house area there around Halloween time. I know I said I'd be back fairly much a week or two after that, and what I was going to do was what's behind it and how it was built, because I did take pictures of, we'd say, what it's built up on, wood and stuff like that. Everything underneath those houses isn't Lego, because to them you'd end up with nothing with the amount of work that, or amount of pieces that would actually have to go into heights like that. So I built up the blocks of wood and stuff like that just for a bit of height. And I will do a video on, we'd say, the behind the scenes, because with the latest edition, which I'll get to in 2 seconds, I've recorded myself building as opposed to showing you the finished product. So I did some hyperlapse, time-lapse videos basically of the newest piece that I put in on the back line there, and I want to do a video basically showing you how I built it. Obviously, you know, there's hours went into it, so I'm not going to have it in real time because it would just take forever. So I'll do the time-lapse stuff and put it together with very little narration, if any at all. But what I've been doing is working so hard on building previous to this, and I have not recorded the kind of progress. I took pictures of the progress but not recorded the progress itself. And a part of what I want to do, obviously, moving forward here, guys, is actually making, you know, nice production videos like where I'm showing the process, and I can share with you guys how, you know, I start at the start and I just take off. I have something in my mind and I work with it. Sometimes I have to take it apart. More times than not, though, I'm lucky enough that it normally does come together. So, so we have the process of the newest project here that we put in, all recorded, and I show myself installing it here and stuff like that. So I want to put a video together on that but it's taken a bit of time to do it. You're just working out, you know, the length of time. I'm looking for music to put over it, and I'm trying to narrate little bits over it, and if I waited until I was done with it, it would take ages rather than just put up another city update. But I will be trying to get more content out, we'd say, on how I make things and then the final product itself, you know, rather than just come up with the final product and show it as a city update, you know. So anyway, let's get going. Let me show you the new product anyway, or shall I say the new project, sorry. So as always, guys, anyway, we just give a quick run through of the city anyway as we kind of go here, just in case anybody is new that's joining us, and welcome if you are new to it. So we have Arkham Asylum here, guys. Again, there'll be a bit of work to be done on this. I'll be coming back to it. I do find as I move through the city from left to right, you know, the improvement of building has got a lot better, and I know I want to add a few new things in here eventually, so we will be back to that eventually. Over here then, as I said, we done the last update. We had our haunted house area background, and that's our a bit of elevated height up behind our city square itself. And then as we're moving down here, here's the new project then, guys. So basically here we have, I suppose I'm kind of giving it something that you might see in Rome maybe 1,000 years ago, I don't know. But I literally, when I had done the Hogwarts area here, I was fond of the beige, and I just brought it up along here to the clock tower and suspended the clock tower on kind of just those pylons as you see them there. And I said, you know what, I'll take them along the back and I'll bring them up here to the corner to the top of the road. And then I just played around with the whole kind of castle look. At the start I had done a round tower, just like the ones that are over here. But I just found that there's two round towers here in this area, and I wanted to kind of bring a different element just to this area here. Now we're coming from the haunted house area as well, so we have this kind of nice dark eerie look, and then we're transitioning over here into a kind of a brighter look. So as you see, the main theme in colours, the sandy beige, and then we brought in a few Nugent colours, or Nugent I think it is, and some light grey, just to put a bit of variety in it. And if I can just lens in a little closer, we just have some flowers basically going up the wall, like a few small petals and vines, like, you know, nothing major. What I was happy with here is the top of the road. I brought in a pedestrian crossing, and I was very fortunate that it actually just fitted right. So the grain is running opposite the actual horizontal road at top, and it just fitted. There's no gap, so I was delighted with that and how it came together. Over here then, in that little gap, I have the next minor little project coming in. Bit of work to be done in it. It'll take up a little bit of Lego, but I won't say what it is yet. We'll keep that for the next video. So yeah, so that's the back line here. It's beginning to come together now, and we've got a little bit of elevation, as you can see, in height. And I think really, guys, that is just making a difference to my city. We say is the different levels. And I suppose the hill is probably one of the main things, bringing us up to that different level, which I love, you know. Now as we move across here, over in this area, just behind the Hogwarts school there and that little tower in Hagrid's, we have about space for 2.5 Mills Plate roads. So that's basically these here. So there's 1 and 2, and then just about a half of that is what's going to go in behind the school there, and then the little tower and Hagrid's area. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue the same pylons right over. But just where you see that base plate where Hagrid's hut is on, I'm literally going to build a big square castle there, with an arch, so the road goes underneath it. And then as we reach the the well-known crap corner, where we're going to lead into the mountains area, is where we're going to veer off into a bit of a dirt track. Now I will have the Wayne Manor Drive coming down here, obviously, and that'll lead into the main road. But out after that, then we're going to lead into the dirt track into the woods. So there'll be all different types of adventures for that when we get to it, you know. So yeah, so we have our Diagon Valley here. A few little additions. I keep forgetting this fella's name. Only you have to remind me. I've watched the film a dozen times and I can never... Hagrid's brother, I can never remember him. So yeah, so that's the story with the back line. Moving on, I suppose, really just for anybody again that's new, guys, just over here then we're just veering into the Batcave itself. And I always just give a glance to this because it's a big part of the city and will be as time goes on, you know. And it's probably the biggest project I have to date, really. So yeah. So the thing as well, I will say, I've noticed little things in my city change a small bit. Some of the gaps here between the plates and some of the pieces maybe just, they don't exactly line up all the time. And of course, I did build the tables out of wood. And as accurate as you might get them with your saw cuts and the heights and everything, they can be perfect when you do them. I'm not saying they're perfect all the time. Sometimes you have to shave them down a bit or whatever just to get the height right and stuff like that and the sizes. But then they either expand or contract due to the weather. And I'm inside in a shed here. It's quite freezing. And I do notice like that the Lego shifts. So it's either my tables or the Lego. The Lego is expanding and contracting because I do know that things do kind of go out of line a little bit. Especially on the back line and trying to get these roads tied in. It takes a while to knit it all together, you know. I do find that there's bigger seams here now, like in some of the Mills plates. But these are just things you learn as you go, you know. Eventually we'll get on top of it. I do plan maybe in the future to change, we'd say, some of the tables around to get something that's a bit more predictable in a sense that it'll actually stay the same size. Because it's probably the OCD in me, but I hate when things fall out of alignment, you know. And just a small sway across here to the Japanese area, guys. Again, like that, I'm showing this just to people that might be new here on the channel. Everything is the same. Again, no changes. I will eventually down the line kind of maybe redo this, because when I look at it there, because I'm doing what I'm doing now, you do, as you know, get better at Lego when you're at it. And I would spend hours at this, like, you know, we'd say with the city. And then you notice little things as you build. And you look at some videos of other guys, great skilled builders or whatever, and girls out there, and you can see little things. And you always, this is just the learning of it all. It's like anything else, really. It's a trade when you get the hang of it. But when I look at this, I see a good few things now I'd like to change in this whole area here. Not by much now, it still stands. I'm happy with, you know, the layout, the landscape of it, but some of the building techniques, I suppose, is what I'd actually like to change around. A small bit of the rock work there now, and the water levels and stuff like that. I know I could do a little bit better with it, you know. So yeah, so that's it basically, guys, in a nutshell. It's just some progress basically in the city, and again, I'll try and get a bit more consistent in putting, we say, footage out, so we can, and especially with the building process of it, so I can share that with you guys, you know, because again, you know, in the comments people are asking, how is this and how is this done and how is that and how do you do it and all that, and I definitely like to be able to show people how I do things. And it's a pity, to be honest, I didn't really kind of learn how to do this earlier on, maybe, especially with the likes of the Batcave. I mean, that's one of the things that when a lot of people look at, they just see the size of it and they say, you know, how did you do it? How did you, like, that's basically done in 10 sections. I had an idea in my head and I went with it. I rarely have to sit down and draw something out. It just literally comes to mind and I'm fairly okay to go with it. And even when I had done this and I came in and I was putting the top on, I literally cut the Wayne Manor and put it down onto the flat grass, and it was just no good at all. So I knew straight away I had to bring a bit of elevation into it and make it a bit more grander looking, you know. But it's a pity I didn't get to record myself more on the process of building it. I have pictures and I'm trying to put together, we'd say, a Batcave progression. But the only problem is I had a lot of footage on a previous phone than this one, and the phone got smashed and I was disgusted because I didn't back up the shots. So I lost a lot on that, you know, and it's one project I probably wouldn't want to take down and do again. It just went on forever. And I loved it, don't get me wrong, but the rock work just didn't end. I was seeing grey bricks in my sleep. So yeah, guys, that's it in a nutshell. And again, thanks to everybody for for liking, sharing and subscribing. And till the next update, and maybe some footage of, we'd say, the process of building, to the next one of those videos. We'll talk to you then. Thank you. Lego Leprechaun out.